What's going on YouTube? So when it comes to massive SUVs, the Suburban is not only one of the largest vehicles on the road, but it is also the longest continually running nameplate in America, dating all the way back to 1935. Now for 2021, it has undergone one of the biggest redesigns in its entire existence, bringing even more capability and luxury. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see if this has what it takes to dominate for another 85 years. So with the all-new Suburban, you have a ton of different configurations you can get this in. What we have with us today is one of the more unique configurations. This is the Z71, which is off-road focused and has a design that really screams, "I'm tough." So let's look at the front here. With the Z71, we have the blacked out grille. It does have a different design which extends it out wider to go all the way out here to the side areas. And then if we look at our lower bumper, this has also been revised to help with off-road duty. So you can see it kind of cuts off a little earlier. This is going to give you an increased approach angle for off-roading. And then we have the skid plate right here, as well as the red tow hooks to show you that this is off-road capable. Then as we come over here to the headlights, these actually are not different from other Suburban models. So they're full LED, including your daytime running light and turn signal that run through here. However, there are no fog lamps. Now to go along with the extra rugged persona of this Z71 Suburban, we do have a 20-inch alloy wheel, which has a nice contrast looking design wrapped in the Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires. And then as far as a few other exterior details, we do have very prominent Z71 branding. We have blacked out Suburban branding, and we also have an exclusive tubular assist step. And then putting our attention back up here to the mirrors, these are heated and you have optional blind spot monitoring.
Now obviously the Chevy Suburban is a quite large vehicle, but you don't see that as much anywhere else besides for the side. I mean, this is a very, very long vehicle. It comes in at 226 inches in length, which is up 15 inches over the regular Tahoe. And of course, that's going to benefit you a lot of space here in the cargo area with the third row up. Now, I want to mention that you are going to have blacked out window surrounds and all of that for the Z71 model. And then coming around to the rear design, you're going to continue that signature Tahoe and Suburban look for this all new model. This part is going to be blacked out since we do have that Z71 model, as well as your blacked out Suburban branding. And then as far as the taillights are concerned, these are actually going to be fully incandescent taillights. The accent is LED, however, each individual element is incandescent. And then dropping down, you will notice that we just have this area right here with no exposed exhaust, and that's because it's going to be High Country and Premier exclusive. Now, as far as your safety systems, you better be a good driver because Chevy's not going to throw in all of them standard. You will have forward emergency braking and auto high beam standard. And then if you go for the Premier trim, that's going to throw in your lane keeping assist. And then optional on the High Country and Premier is going to be your adaptive cruise control. But anyway, guys, as you can see, this is a massive, massive vehicle on the outside, but let's go ahead and check out that luxurious interior before we take it out on a spin. And we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below because it really, really helps us out.
So walking up to the Z71 Suburban, of course you do have a standard smart entry system, and included with that is a remote start system as well. And then to get inside the truck itself, there is not a sensor behind the handle, so just press the silver button to unlock. All right, and taking a look inside of the Z71, there's not really too many differences with the Z71 for the interior. which is a good thing because this new generation of the Suburban definitely has a very nice cabin on pretty much every single trim level. Now, as far as your different interior color material options, the Z71 will come standard with real leather, and then you've got two different color choices. That's going to be a jet black or this gray color. Now, turning over here to your door trim, we have gray leather across the armrest with the stitching detail. And then the top part of the door trim is actually finished in a color contrast brown, which I think looks very nice, including this very top part with another stitching detail and some faux wood accenting. We do have two-person memory seating, and then our front two windows are one-touch auto up and down. The back ones are just auto down. Taking a look here at the seats, these are going to be 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support. And then, like I already mentioned, this is a real leather. And of course, the seats are extremely comfortable. Now to get inside, we do have some running boards. So getting in is even easy for someone that's a pretty modest height like myself. But like I already mentioned, every version of this new Suburban really has a nice cabin. So across our upper dash, we do have a really nice full leatherette material that runs across the entire thing with the stitching detail. We have a lot of this faux wood that runs through here. All the center part is also finished in leatherette, including this area and around the shifter. As we move down, we have more leatherette that runs through here. We've got stitching details on both the top and the bottom of that, and everything does fit together very, very nicely. Now to start it up, put your foot on the brake and press the button. Now before we start to really dig into the cabin, I do want to mention something really fast, and that's the fact that due to the severe shortages of parts and stuff that are going on right now, the Z71 Suburban really has a limited availability of options. So all the option packages are currently not available at this time. So when you choose the Z71, at least right now, it's basically going to be base. You're just going to get the basic configuration. That's what we have here today as well. And that's really what I'm going to discuss, is just kind of show you guys what you're getting with the Z71. Now I'm sure probably in the next model year, 2022, a lot of those options will come back on the table. But for now, what you see today is really what you get. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the gauges. As you can see, this is the more basic configuration with a 4.2-inch multi-function display right there in the middle. And you can cycle through all the expected information, including some things related to towing. You do have rain-sensing wipers. As we come back to the steering wheel, we do have a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel with the silver accenting. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and you cannot get heating as far as being standard on this model. Now, one thing that does not change no matter which Suburban you get is the fact that you have enormous amounts of storage. So we'll start out with the center console. Open this up. You're greeted with a center bin here. This is removable, and then you just have an absolutely outrageous amount of space. It's incredible. The coupons, I mean, it's absolutely nothing like a little deck of cards sitting at the bottom. You do have a lot of USBs. These are going to be 2 of them right here. Close that up. We've got our 2 cup holders up here in the front. We have a large wireless phone charging pad, 2 more USBs, and a 12-volt outlet. Of course, there's storage along the sides of here. There's storage over there on the door trims. There's storage right here. There's basically storage everywhere. That's the name of the game with the Suburban, or else you wouldn't need something this big. Now, one of the ways they free up a lot of space is by going with this new push-button style shifter. So you're just going to pull on the D toggle there to go into drive. You can do some manual controls right there. Reverse is the same thing. When you do that, you will see a standard backup camera pop up with active trajectory as well as parking sensors. Again, you can get the 360-degree camera system usually, but you will not be getting that at this time. P is for park, of course, and there is an electronic parking brake. Now, as we move down here to our climate controls, Of course, we've got a 3-zone automatic climate control setup with nice, easy controls all through here. You can press this button to make adjustments to your rear climate. And we do also have standard heated seats, which have separate controls for your back and your butt. Alright, and now that takes us up here to our audio system. So with this model, we have the Bose 9-speaker premium sound system, and we'll go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this is excellent. Definitely fills up even this big cabin very well. Okay, and now we will take a quick look here at the Chevy Infotainment 3 system. So this is a 10.2-inch display, just like every Suburban. As you can see, it does have that pop-up style to it. And what I'm in right now is the Android Auto ecosystem. That's because I wanted to show off the fact that it is wireless, and that goes for both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. Press that Chevy button right there, that will take you back to the main infotainment system. It is the typical Chevy Infotainment 3. As you can see, we do not have built-in navigation on this particular model, but you do have dedicated section to adjust your climate controls, as well as some trailering information. As we move on up, we have an auto dimming mirror, and then up at the very top is where you will find the 3 HomeLink universal remotes. And then this particular model has one of the only options that are still available on the Z71, and that is this power panoramic sunroof. So this remains a very impressive feature, just like in other Suburban models. It's very large, goes all the way back past the second row, and of course the front portion does open up.
Alrighty, so here I am in the Suburban's rear seat. Now, this is obviously a very, very nice place to spend time. There's tons of space, and there's also a lot of luxury in this rear area as well. Let me talk about the space first. We're going to be looking at 42 inches of rear legroom, 39 inches of rear headroom, which does place it right on par with that of the Tahoe. You're not going to get any additional second row space, although the third row as well as the cargo area is going to be quite a bit larger. Now, as far as behind rear seating position, we have, I would say, probably 9 or so inches of rear legroom. My feet can slide up underneath the seat, and we can also slide the seat forward and back as well as recline it. Now, you're probably noticing we do have the captain's chairs on this model. We also have cup holders here in the middle. And then if we drop down, we have our own climate controls. We have 2 USB Type-Cs, and then further below that we have a household style outlet, so you're going to definitely be able to keep your stuff charged up. And you can also get rear seat entertainment, although it's not really available with the packaging they have right now. All right, so let's go ahead and check out that third row. I'm sure all Suburban owners will be using this. So in order to get back here, just pull this lever once. That folds the seat down. Then pull it one more time, and it will open up. Now, as far as the space itself is concerned back here, I mean, you might as well call this another second row. I mean, this is just as nice. As far as the space, it's like 37 inches of legroom, 38 inches of headroom. I mean, I'm so comfortable. We have vents up here on the top. I even have a USB port as well as a cup holder. I mean, there's certainly no complaints about any of the space back here. And now I even have a ton of thigh support thanks to that new suspension setup. Now walking up to the tailgate of the Suburban, you're going to have a standard hands-free power one on the Z71, and you do also have the option to pop the rear glass if you want, but just wave your foot under the bumper to open it up. And as far as the space is concerned, this is why you buy the Suburban, is because you can have all 3 rows up and still have 44 cubic feet of space back here. That's just an absurd amount of space in the Suburban. If you fold them down, you're gonna have 94 cubic feet, and then as a maximum, you have 145 cubic feet, making this literally one step below a school bus. I'm pretty sure this is the most space you can get in any production vehicle. Now, as far as how they finished it back here, you do have a really nice finishing. So we have carpeting along the floor. If we lift it up, there is space to put an umbrella. And then off to the right side, we have a household style outlet. It is worth noting though that you're gonna have manual folding seats for the Z71. You don't have the power folding setup like you would on the higher end models. Now here at your passenger seat, we do have power adjustment. And then if we open up the glove box, we do have plenty of space for our coupons. This actually could be a little bit larger for such a gigantic vehicle, but I don't think you're gonna have problems finding somewhere to put these. You have 145 cubic feet of space to put these, but I'm sure you have a lot of kids if you have one of these, so you'll have to have a lot of coupons. Now, as far as the sun visor up top, we have a gigantic mirror, we have LED lighting that gently fades in, and we can also detach it and extend.
And just like that, you are above 60 miles per hour. So of course, a big vehicle such as this needs a big motor to move it around. And with the Z71, that's going to come standard with the 5.3 liter V8 engine. So you're going to have 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque. This is actually the only engine that's offered with the Z71 specifically, and it is paired with four-wheel drive all the time.
Yeah. But just cruising along, wow, oh my goodness. This is one of the most comfortable vehicles money can buy. Earlier in the year, we got to spend an entire week with the Yukon Denali, and this is just a very, very impressive vehicle when it comes to the ride quality. It really just, it's great. And then as far as like this one in particular compared to the other Tahoes in the lineup, the off-road shocks really do help to give this a very comfortable ride. It's a little bouncy, but it's not too bad, and it just makes for a very comfortable ride.
Right, and you usually can option this on with an air suspension. Of course, like I mentioned earlier in the review, there's some part shortages that have really limited the number of options you can get on these right now. But of course, when things start to clear up, you'll be able to get those options again.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the transmission. So this has a 10-speed automatic transmission like your other Tahoe and Suburban models. Always been very impressed by this transmission. In this application, it's just as smooth and comfortable as in the other applications. Definitely something that just gives you power when you need it, blends into the background when you don't want to pay attention to it.
Yeah. And I also just want to mention this compared to the Expedition has that really nice V8 roar that I know at least I would be looking for if I was looking in this segment of vehicle, just because it sounds so good. Alrighty, and as far as the airball and slam dunk for the day, we're going to start out with the slam dunk just being the space. This Suburban, it's just incredible. You cannot get anything else on the market that has as much space as this. The third row is extremely comfortable. The cargo space with the third row up is enough for the vast majority of people. So, super impressed about the amount of space that this vehicle has. And as far as the airball is concerned, we're going to do the equipment at this particular price point. This is a fully base Z71. Besides for the pano roof. And we don't have stuff like blind spot monitoring, and there's not really any safety systems on this model. So stuff like that is a little bit disappointing, especially when you're looking at $66,000 as your price point.
And since we were talking about pricing, we'll go ahead and get you the official numbers for the Suburban lineup.
Yeah, so for the Z71, you're going to be starting at a price of $62,200. Standard four-wheel drive, and then you option on a few different things like the captain's chairs as well as the moonroof, plus the destination charge, which is a pretty steep $1,700, gets you to $66,190 for this particular model. And of course, there are different Suburbans that you can get. The High Country can probably go up past $80,000 if you get it fully loaded. And last but not least, I will mention the fuel economy for this model. So the 5.3 liter with four-wheel drive is going to be coming in at 15, 19, 17 combined, and that is the only way you can get the Z71.
So the question we asked at the beginning was, can the Suburban survive another 87 years? I don't know if it can go another 87 years, at least not in its current V8 form, but I think this nameplate and this size will definitely live on, because this fulfills a niche that nothing else really fills up. You know, this has so much space for every type of need that you could possibly have, no matter how many passengers you have, no matter how much cargo you need to haul, no matter how much towing you need to do. This really is a machine that can get it all done.
Well guys, that's going to wrap up this in-depth review of the 2021 Chevy Suburban Z71. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, be sure to pay us back by hitting that subscribe button down below. It's completely free to you, and it really helps us out a lot to get opportunities to film cool cars and to provide that content, therefore, to you. So be sure to do that. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.